Okay, Mohammed, thank you very much.
Hello, Professor. How are you?
Chapter 4 from book 1, right?
Yes, Professor. From the first adventure.
Okay, good.
4 and 5, I think. 4 and 5.
Okay, we'll try to see if we can have 2 chapters.
Yes, 4 and 5. Yes.
Hello, Professor. Good evening.
Hello, good evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Chapter 4, only 4 or 4 and 5?
I don't think that today we have enough time to discuss both of them. I think that we'll study just one chapter.
Okay, okay, Professor, thank you.
Because we have just 1 hour for today. Yes. Okay, let's start now. I think that most of them come to the class. Yes. In chapter 3, chapter 2, and chapter 1, we talked about صوتي يقطع ليش؟ Okay, I
نعم،
will try to fix
الصوت
it.
يقطع.
المشكلة ما أعرف.
Much
Now
better.
It's clear, it's clear.
Okay. Okay. We discussed something about the Lilliputians and the adventure of Gulliver to this place, to this group of people. They are teeny people as they are described by Swift. And also we talked about political themes, social themes. We talked about the emperor and what is the symbolic meaning of the emperor of the Lilliputian. I mean, all of them. Gulliver himself. So let's today try to discover more about Gulliver and his adventure in the Lilliputians' land. Who will start?
May I,
Okay.
Professor?
Yes, Muhammad. Yes. Yalla, Muhammad.
Yes, Professor. As we know from the last lecture, the two problems of emperor of Lilliput, external problem and internal problem, and the external problem with the people of Pilfisco, because the people broke the egg from the white side. So Gulliver agree to fighting with the Lilliput if Pilfisco attacked the Lilliput. Pilfisco was Iceland, about 800 meters north of Lilliput. People there didn't know about Gulliver because, it wasn't communication between the two countries. Gulliver didn't want to harm anyone, even from the country of Belfasco, not just from the Lilliput. So Gulliver suggested to the king that he could bring the entire Belfasco fleet without war. Their fleet of Belfasco ready to attack. Gulliver asked them about the deepest point in the sea between the two countries, and he knew it was almost 2 meters. So Gulliver went to the north of Lilliput and slept in the field and used the telescope in his bucket, in the secret bucket, to see the number of ships in Belfasco army in the sea. He saw 50 ships and numbers of small boats. So Gulliver decided to make 50 hooks and 50 iron chains to tie them in order to pull the ships. Indeed, Gulliver crossed the water and went to Belfasco, the side of army of Belfasco. The people, the army of Belfasco, shocked, and when saw Gulliver, shocked and threw themselves into the water and ran away, because it's big, it's a giant.
A monster, just like
yes,
them.
A monster for them. Gulliver tied the ships and began to tow them. Then the soldier of Belfasco returned and began to shout and arouse at Gulliver. Gulliver just in easy way wore his glasses to protect his eyes and continued to pull the ships. Gulliver notes that the ships were tied to the port, so he just used his own knife and cut the ropes and start again to pull in with easy way. The soldier of Belfasco were shocked and wondered why Gulliver didn't try to harm them. On the other hand, the king of Lilliput stood waiting anxiously for Gulliver. When he saw the ship appearance, the king thought the Gulliver plan had failed and Gulliver had escaped. Just in the beginning, you see just the ship. Suddenly, Gulliver appeared and shouting, "Long live King Lilliput! Long live!" As in Arabic, Yahya al-Malik, Yahya al-Malik. Long live for King Lilliput. The people and the king were very happy with Gulliver arrived. The king trained him as a hero and gave him the most important medal in the country. But later, they characterized as any king, as any emperor. Later, the emperor began to become more and more ambitious. He said that with Gulliver's help, he could control all the country. He could control all Belfasco and put his enemies in prison. Specifically the bad people who broke the egg from the white side. But
very good.
Gulliver refused to help the king anymore. And here, the king's opinions of Gulliver changed. And friends threatened him and told him that your life would be difficult from now. From today, your life to be difficult. Gulliver was in bad position with the emperor of Lilliput. 3 weeks later, Lilliput visited by 3 important officials from Belfasco to negate the war, and after the talks and negotiate the war with the king, with the emperor, they asked to see Gulliver. When they saw him, they thanked him because he didn't hurt anyone from them, and they invited him to visit them as a welcome guest and meet their king. Gulliver welcomed this invitation and promised to visit them. But the promise greatly affected Gulliver's relationship with the Lilliput. And his relationship with the king of Lilliput became a bad relationship, specifically the Ministry of Financial, the man who is responsible on the money of Lilliput. It's called Flibnam, his name Flibnam. And the Ministry of Navy, because why the Ministry of Navy hate Gulliver? Because he was jealousy, because what Gulliver did in the sea and he with his soldier couldn't do it. You know,
Yeah,
he just in
yes.
second ended the war, but he cannot do it with his soldier.
Yes, very
The
good.
people who hated Gulliver suggested that they get rid of him because he costed them much of money on his food, drink, clothes, and service. Some of them were hypocritical, and told the king that Gulliver wanted to work with the king of Belfasco, so he should to punish. Gulliver heard about the ways which they would like to punish him. Some suggested they threw poisons by arouse at him,
Yes,
Others
yes.
suggested they burn his house while he was inside the house. He shocked
Yes.
from that. But the king didn't agree with these methods of punishing because they didn't want to kill Gulliver. He didn't love Gulliver. He needs him. He want to use him in the future. In the end, they agreed that they would blind him and that they would be able to use him and benefit from him in the future. And
Yes.
Professor, in my opinion, here is not most important thing from Swift. Here, a reference to how the ruler man, the king, maybe our government in this day or in any century or political means, blind people to want us follow them, and
Yes.
use us. It's kind of if we're robots. That's just my opinion for this point.
Yes, Muhammad.
Here,
Thank you very much. That's enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor.
Very good. While you are discussing the plot of this chapter, I have written many questions. We will raise them now. Thank you very much, and very good for your preparation. Yes, Sumaya. Yes.
After Gulliver's visit to the Emperor's palace at Mildindo, Real-Darsal Lipute's principal secretary of private affairs pays a visit to Gulliver and explains the faction quarrels between the high heel party and the low heel party. The conflicts, he says, started over a religious question, at which end should the faithful break their eggs? At the big end or at the little end? The Blefuscudians break theirs in the original style at the big end, but by royal edicts. The Liputians must break theirs eggs at the little end. There are replaces in Liput. Raisal says, and already 11,000 of them, big Indians, have been put to death. Others have fled to the court of Blefuscu. He explains further that the Liputians have lost 14 ships in the war. The dilemma seems hopeless for Lostrog. The prophet of their religion has said all true believers shall break their eggs at the convent end.
Yes, thank you very much, Sumaya. Good. Yes, Ali.
Hello,
You have
Professor.
waited for a long time. Yes.
ست محمد
Yes.
نديل لا سيناريست ولا سكرين رايتر، كان ولد الممثل، كان خلي الممثلين
أي.
يمثلون الفيلم 4 شهور 5 شهور تمثيل.
والله احنا عندنا مسرحية بروفا جاي نسويها ويا الطلاب، بس حرامات محمد مو بجامعتهم.
اشارك وياكم بس ماكو مشكله.
والله
حتى
ما
لو
يصير
كان
يا
واحد
ريت.
بس راح
والله سولفت لهم اليوم، سولفت لهم عنكم، قلت لهم حرامات لو وياكم يعني لغة وأفكار وهم هذول قاعدة أحفظهم كلمة كلمة، فيا ريت لو كنت وياهم. أوكي.
تمام.
يسعد.
هم الحكي راح يطول، يعني هم ذاك راح يكون
أوكي.
يعني deeply. So Gulliver's description of Mildindo gives Swift another chance to satirize the pretensions of the Lilliputians. The little people, for example, call their city, a metropolis. Gulliver, however, describes the city as only 500 feet square, but he does not scoff at the Lilliputian. He accepts their self-declared importance. Thus, once again, Swift emphasized the contrast between Gulliver's naive, acceptance of the Lilliputian's viewpoint and the physical facts he reports. So Swift also uses Gulliver's matter-of-fact tone to fuel the religious war politically. So Pilfescu مدري اسمها Pilfusco or stands for France and Lilliput for England. The war between the two over the religious question of egg breaking, symbolizes the long series of wars between Catholic France and Protestant England. The egg breaking itself may refer to quarrel over the nature of the sacrament, and it is also possible that it refers to the differences in communion of the Catholic and Anglican churches. The Anglican received communion by bread and wine. The Roman Catholic received only bread. The French and English, of course, also fought over land and loot. But Swift is using the symbolic differences between churches to emphasize the absurdity of any religious war. So the reference to the to the grandfather of the present emperor who cut his finger breaking an egg. It is to Henry VIII. Henry broke with Rome over the question of papal authority and also over the matter of Anne Boleyn. The big Indians are therefore Catholic and the little Indians are Protestants. The emperor who lost his life is Charles I. Charles supported Archbishop Laud and was accused of Roman Catholic sympathies. So the emperor who lost his crown is James II, the second, who tried to restore restore some of the rights of the Roman Church. He also attempted to institute a standing army with Roman Catholic officers. Swift also related the folly of the religious war between Lilliput and Pilfescu to imitate European politics. The two politician parties stand for English political parties. The high heels represent Tories and the low heels Whigs. Do you know Tories and Whigs? They are the two parts in the parliament. And I will talking about them at least. The king was sympathetic to the Whigs. He used them to support Hanover against France and appointed them to official positions to strengthen his position against the House of Lords. Thus, as the Lilliputian emperor, he was low heels. The Prince of Wales, later George II, surrounded himself with members of both parties who were out of favor. As the Lilliputian, he was one high and one low heel and wobbles when he walks.
Yes, very good. So according to what you have mentioned, that the whole war between Lilliput and Pilfescu is a political indirect speech. He is talking about politics. He is talking about the war between France and England, but in an indirect, in a funny way, using satire. Thank you very much, Ali, for this
Thank you,
useful
Professor.
information. Thank you very much.
I
Anyone who
have a
wants
lot,
to
but I
add?
think the time is is
Yeah,
short.
for today,
Yes.
today our time is just short. Okay, maybe tomorrow we will try to elaborate more. Yes, thank you. Now, what about the others? Anyone who wants to add?
Can I,
It's very
Professor?
important chapter. Yes.
I think a professor he tried to show us even for this small social or small community from people, they have a difference and they have a problem, politics problem, not
Yeah.
just only in real life for Galver. I don't talk about the author. I'm talking about Galver in the novel. So there is a political problem, and even the small people, some of them try to prove they are better from the other people. So it's about the difference. When we don't accept the difference from each other, that will lead us for a big problem, for a very messy situation, just like the wars. If I don't accept you in this way, and you don't accept me, and I am try to show my power, so that will make so much messy. Even for small people, they have the same brain just like us. That's what he wants to show us. They have a war. They have people try to control them. It's I think it's for 30 moon. When I read it's about the moon, they use a measure for the time. It's the moon. They said we are lost. I think 10,000, 13,000
Yes.
person. So this means they lost a lot of people, and they lost some shit. They lost some of their powers. This means there is a lot of destruction from the two sides, and they said we are the winners. So, but in the war there is no winner. All the people are losers, from the soldiers, the warriors. But that's the
Is that right?
point. That's the point. There is a difference from
Yeah.
the people. There's no tremendous to living together with a peace, even for the small people. That will not change our natural human.
Yes.
We are love the war. We don't living with peace if we are a
Yeah.
victim, even in the
Yeah.
imagination. But that's a good irony to show us how the war, and to show how maybe I there is something make me focus for the empire and his wife castle and his kingdom will all live to and don't have that. But that's
Yeah. The utopian society.
yeah, but there is no
Yeah.
legal in
Mm.
real life. Okay, we can see when someone have a trust. If we have a controlling for a few people, someone tries to show up with his muscles and his power, said, I am so strong and this is my power. But he showed the empire he's a simple and nice, and so his wife. But in Europe in that time was very bloody time, very bloody, and
Yeah.
the court
Yeah. That's right.
they are monsters. Now we are studying that in poetry, and they are monsters. They are not normal people. And that's all I want
Yeah.
to say,
Yeah.
Professor.
Thank you
Sorry,
very much.
sorry. There's one thing.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
the nice empire, he brings the destruction and the problem for his kingdom. Just like when he guided Gulliver, he's a huge for his kingdom, for the small people. He can cross the same way
Yeah.
acting. That's all.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Fatma. Thank you very much. I think Naba want to add something. Yes, Naba.
Yes, hello, teacher.
Hello, Naba. Be
I'm
as short as possible.
no, I'm
Yes.
shorter as possible, believe me, because I don't
Yeah.
want to talk too
Okay.
much. That There's just
Okay.
one thing. He also referred to the problems are as tiny problems. That's only give us an idea that tiny people mean tiny tiny brains, short humans are always fighting for smallest problem that we, and from that smallest problem, the war began to the entire world like
Yeah,
fire
yeah.
eating
Thank
the
you
whole
very
earth.
much.
That's it.
A
That's tiny
short
people,
comment.
tiny minds,
Yes, thank
tiny
you very
problems.
much, Nabila.
Thank you.
Okay, okay. So let's talk about anyone who wants to add. بعد واحد منكم want to participate, want to ask something.
May I?
Nothing more. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Yes, Professor. I agree.
محمد شو تريد تضيف بعد محمد؟
No. Okay,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
okay, you want to add something new?
No, just I want to comment about opinions my classmates Ali and also Fatima and Neva. I agree totally with them, but just I want to add something. Maybe on other hand, Swift not just criticism the parties or the Protestant and Catholic during that time. Maybe this message for all the people, all the community, the criticism of all people fighting because ridiculous
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
all community, all people in the world, in any side, from the all sides, should rethinking about why the war. Maybe we should talk with us and rethinking and stop the war.
Yeah, that's right.
That's it.
Actually, we talked,
Not
thank you very much.
specifically in community of England. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. We talked about war previously, and we have mentioned something that all reasons for every war in this world, in this universe, is something trivial, because nothing is worthy to kill people, especially innocent people, for what? For nothing.
Professor.
So Swift to show us the triviality of this war by using the first thing we there's a struggle, the struggle of the Lilliputian. Look that the Lilliputian states are in struggle. It seems that they have difficult time for the people, for everyone. For why this difficult time? Because of war. But what kind of war? It's about a trivial thing. So their state seems utterly absurd, absurd.
Maybe all the war, most of war in our community, in the world.
All every war.
Nothing important. Yes.
So the first struggle of the Lilliputian state seems to be absurd, something trivial, meaningless. Absurd means meaningless, nothingless. Nothing deserve to kill the innocent people. It is based on what? On superficial things, trivial thing. يعني why it is absurd, why it is meaningless? Because the reason of war is something superficial. طبعا except the wars during the age of the Prophet Muhammad and others prophets, because these were deserved, okay, worthy. But here, other wars, especially the political wars, they are not that important thing, because it's based on superficial, okay? And there is a kind of physical differences. يعني هاي الحرب يشبيها, there is a kind of inequality because of the physical differences. Don't forget the theme of morality versus physical power. Rather than anyone, there is a Gulliver. Gulliver cannot fight with this kind of people, the Polvisco or the Lilliput, because there is no similarity between them, no equality between them. Look to the physical power difference, and so the war from the beginning, it is based on nothing. It is a trivial war. Swift will use the absurdity of the Lilliputians was to comment on the absurdity of war in general. يعني هو مو بس قصده he is talking about the Lilliputians and he's talking about the war between the Lilliput and the Polvisco, and he just wants to show the humanity of Gulliver. No, he means something else. Don't forget the satire, the political satire in this adventure. Swift intentionally used this absurdity. I have mentioned this before. I told you that the idea of the egg is just a tool. هي image استخدمها. Why? In order to show how wars is absurd in general, not for the Lilliputians. Okay, so again, my question about this part خلونا يعني على حدث is why Gulliver didn't hurt them. I mean the Polvisco when he is with the Lilliputian and they use him as a device, as a means, as a way to fight the Polvisco. Why he didn't harm them? Why he didn't fight them? Why he just tried to talk with them rather than hurting them? So why? What do you think?
May I?
Yes, Muhammad.
May I?
Yes,
Muhammad,
Professor.
yes.
Maybe because if he fight them, he was just like them. So he used his message without message, it's just like them. And, he used the molarity. So he used his message if he fight with them. It's just like them.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Muhammad. Yes, Ali.
هو
Why he
حتى
didn't
أجاوب
harm?
هاي النقطة هذه هو لازم نعرف هو ليش استعمل الليبيوشنز، ليش خلى الليبيوشنز وليش هو ما أذى يعني صرف وياهم بهالصورة، لأن هو كان يستعمل خلي أتكلمها بالعربي مستعمل رمز الليبيوشنز هو استعملها in two events like satirize specific events okay for people okay in the life, and it's like a model for a man in the parliament whose name is Robert Walpole. His name he was the England's first prime minister maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
So
yes.
بما انه هو استعمل هذا الرمز حتى يوصف ويمقت هاي المخلوقات بالضبط. طبعا هو ما اعرف احنا القصه كلها مفتهمين انه ليبيوت وكذا والاشخاص الاذكياء، وها بالعكس هو كان نفسه سويفت يمقت هاي المخلوقات لان هو كان يرمز لهم للطرف المناوئ الى بالبرلمان، لان هو كان مع الطرف التورس اللي هم طرف الكنيسه. تمام استاذه؟ فهو فهنا هاي شو اسمه، فهو ما راح بما انه جاليفر is a moral person and maybe he was sign maybe like a contract to his freedom, so he cannot do anything maybe fully.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yes, that's right. Yes, Ali, thank you very much. Thank you. Then let's hear Naba. You want to comment about this? And I think
they said it both. They said it both that the morality, and I agree with Ali. He just want to send a message that with these people, with these kind of people, with the superficial people, we need to act in a bigger mind. We need to be more. We need to prepare our weapon, that which is morality. That's all.
Good. Thank you very much. Muhammad Ali, Muhammad, you just want to comment? I didn't see your comment. Muhammad Ali, he's raising his hand, and I didn't see it. Then also Yaqeen. Okay.
May I?
Yaqeen. Okay, Mustafa, you want to say something, Mustafa,
Yes.
about this question?
I agree with I agree with Ali and Muhammad about the idea of morality, and also if you see from the beginning of the story that the Gulliver is against the violence. He could at that time he could damage and destroy all the Lilliputians and kill them all from the first day, but he chose to see and to learn from their knowledge, from their behavior, and to see and to move in this plan. So
Yeah,
he against
yeah.
the violence, and he didn't want to make a big fight or or kill the others. So it's
Yes,
kind of
good,
idea from
good,
the Swift. Yes.
good. Thank you very much. Then your answer leads us to another question, which is why after that, after Gulliver refused to help them to be with them and against their enemy, and to use him as a tool, as a way in order to achieve their desires. So why they decide to restrict Gulliver's physical power over them? Why they are trying to restrict him? Why they just want him to be with them? So what is their ideas? What they are thinking of? ايش كانوا يفكرون؟ ايش تتوقعون؟ شنو ببالهم؟ ليش يردون يقيدون حركة جاليفر؟ لأنه شنو ممكن يفكرون وليش يفكرون هذا التفكير. And do you think that this reflects their personality? This reflects that they are not loyal person, unfaithful persons, I mean the Lilliputians. So what do you think? Why
May I?
the Lilliputian have been careful to restrict Gulliver's physical power, and they are eager to harness his power against their enemies? Why? I think okay. واحد حكى من وينكم؟
أنا حكيت بس خليت تحكي سكينة يمكن رفعت إيدها.
Yes, Sukaina. Yes. Let's have more participants. Yes. Sukaina, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, just raise your voice because we cannot hear you clearly.
Yes, they are. Tank was dangerous to him, and he eat the man. Was the small.
Okay. Thank you very much. I couldn't hear you, unfortunately.
Can I go back?
Yes, علي قبلك قال فاطمة علي. Yes, علي.
Yes.
No, ladies first.
It's
Yes,
first,
Ali.
it's okay. Let her answer.
Okay, let's hear you. Yeah, because you raised your hand first.
Ali, it's okay.
اوكي سألت السؤال نسيته تقريبا بس استاذ يعني انت سالتي يمكن ليش هم ما استعملوا هاي القوه مالته.
No, why they just won't decide to restrict his physical power. مو ممكن يستخدموها. ليش حاولوا يقيدون الphysical power? Why they are eager to harness his power against their enemies? Why? What they are thinking of? احنا اقتربنا من yeah.
If we read the novel, okay, the point of view of Gulliver, okay, of the novel in general, it's maybe because they didn't want to expose their secret, this huge power. Maybe in army you can't fight with all your weapons, okay, you must have a plan. So it's maybe this kind of the plans in the wars, okay. And if we read the point of view of Swift, okay, maybe Jonathan Swift he want to show us or to tell the community in general and exactly his community, okay, that's the science or the science, okay, is not enough just in itself. You need something else, okay. You want that's the reason. Maybe he want to show the power in additional the science, okay.
Okay, thank you, Ali.
May I?
No, Muhammad. Before you, Fatima. Yes, Fatima.
Thank you, Professor. I think
Yeah.
because I read the novel yesterday, I read the chapter just one time from the book.
Yeah.
As I remember, they have some ideas and some information about the giant people, the huge people, and they make that makes them scared because they heard about, I think, 100%, and they was make some distraction, so they was afraid from him. But they try to find out what kind of the people he is. So when they feel safe and he's not dangerous, they make a deal with him to defend
Yeah.
on their city. But they have some information, but I think because didn't discover all the world to know if there is a normal people or the big people for them. That's why make them feel scared and there is no trust between them. That's what I think.
Yes. Yes, that's right. That's right.
ست
Okay,
أقدر
thank you
أضيف
very
شيء
much.
لإجابتي بس إضافة بسيطة قبل ما يجاوب محمد.
Yes. Okay.
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 Science and reason needed limits. And they
Science
needed,
and reason. Yeah.
yes, needed limits. And they needed a good measure of humanism. So
Good.
they did not require absolute devotion. So
Yeah.
maybe this
Yeah.
the answer. That's what he want to tell us.
Good answer and good idea. Yes, Muhammad.
Yes, Professor. Maybe I didn't agree with my classmate Ali. Maybe in general, I think in general idea, yes, I agree with him. But about your question, specifically, you ask about why the king of Lilliput did that with Gulliver, did kind of limit of his power. You know, maybe in my opinion, I don't know if it's correct or no. Maybe that's mentioned for the characterize of rulesman, of emperor, of king, want just to own the things, just want to use Gulliver, and didn't Gulliver able to others. You know, he thought the emperor of Lilliput thought Gulliver was he will to be with the other side with Bilfisco. You know, he just to
This is
want
the idea.
them.
That's right.
Yes, this is the idea. This is the point. Want Gulliver to stay with them, not with the other side. Yes.
Yeah. So they are scared that maybe Gulliver will be their enemies and against them. Then in this moment he will destroy them all easily. Although they know that that Gulliver is a moral man. Okay, he's a moral man. He's a human, and he has physical power, but he didn't hurt them anyone. So that's why. I don't know why they are thinking in this way. We'll know. The next question will answer this
Can I
question.
ask
Why
something?
they are thinking that he will be with their enemies and against them.
To control of Gulliver, to make kind of
Can I
control
just
of him.
Yeah, yes, Nabel. To what?
Okay, I think the idea here is in politics you have to be careful from your friends than your enemy, before your enemy. So Gulliver's
Yes, that's right.
their ally, but they have to be careful from him.
Yeah, yes, good. And I can't remember Julius Caesar. Yes, in Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare, there's a quotation by the fortune teller to the
حتى
Caesar.
أنت
You know, fortune
بروتس.
teller.
حتى أنت
Beware of
بروتس.
your enemies, beware of your friends. مو هيك كان quotation. Beware of your friends before your enemies. Your friends will be your enemies. Okay. So this is a good point. We have to be careful from the close friend rather than those who are our enemy, because the difficulties, the struggles, the problems comes from those who are close to you, since they know your secrets, everything.
Lilliput wasn't friends of Gulliver from the beginning. Just want to
now he is fighting with them.
Yes.
He is fighting
just
with
want
them,
to use
so he
him,
is
control
with them.
him.
Yeah. This is the question. Why they, when he refused to help them control all the country, to control the world, okay, because of his physical power, as you know, why then they decide to kill him? The question is, because of what? Why they decide to
They
kill
didn't
him?
agree.
They decide.
The king didn't agree, but the man beside the king give this advice because was jealousy
Yeah,
from
why?
Gulliver.
Why they are thinking jealousy or something else? Okay,
And
it is jealousy,
so
but there is
jealousy
another
and
sense.
thought he will be with another side, you know, Professor.
Because they are not loyal persons, because they are unfaithful, so they think that he will be too. That's why they are scared from
Yes,
Gulliver to be against them. انه ذول الناس اللي دائما يكونون unfaithful, not loyal person, ما عندهم trust others, because this is a reflection of their psychology. They think that all people are thinking just like them. Do you agree with me?
Yes, agree. Also, Professor, if you may, something important Swift mentioned for it. Gulliver for a moment thinking about that, thinking to destroy the city, to kill the Lilliput, but he just rethinking and remember in the beginning they careful about him and food him. So maybe that's mentioned to anyone to become with the community, bad community, she will became the same, just like them.
Yes, good. But there's another idea that not all of them are bad, not all of them are disloyal, not all of them are unfaithful. Just Swift wants to reflect something that society has the good and bad people, not all of them. And the reason and the proof, we'll see it in the next chapter, I think, that one of them will help Gulliver. He will help him, he will tell him about their intention, their bad intention, so Gulliver will escape. This event will show the audience that even if society is corrupted, even if people are disloyal, unfaithful, but there's good people inside. There's loyal people.
Innocent people.
Innocent people. So we have to be more optimistic because still the world has those good people. Not all of them are bad. That's why he made one of them tell Gulliver about their bad intentions. Yes, Ali.
هو هدف الأساسي من وضع God to write this novel, to put this character. Why? Okay, why? The writer...
This question will be answered at the end of the whole novel, not this book. It's a general question. When we will see the society, which is divided into different groups, organizations, in details, when we will compare and contrast every adventure with the other, when we will talk about every state, then we will answer this question. We'll discover why Gulliver, why this person.
Yes, after the finish, after we will finish the novel. Okay.
Yes. Then again, do you think that Gulliver is a naive person? And why? You know, naive.
حسود.
حسود.
No, naive.
لا naive.
Yeah. So do you think that he is naive?
Oh, naive. No, he's a smart man.
طيب القلب أكثر من سذاجة أعتقد. يعني طيبة عنده بس مو سذاجة، مو سذاجة توصل للسذاجة.
يعني هي النايفتي شنو هي يعني؟
ست هو نايف.
طيب
علي
can you explain the meaning of the word naive to them? What is the meaning of naive?
ست نايف تجي بمعنى انه هو يعني شلون ساذج. اوكي
يعني شنو ساذج؟
like a fool.
So is it a bad word or good word?
It's maybe professor. Do you know the man who شلون نقول فطير بسيط وعنده شوي نوع من الدم. اوكي يعني انت تشوف الاحداث داير ما دايرك وكذا، بس انت يعني قوه سوي روحك انت فطير وفقير وكل شيء يعني فكره بسيط وساذج لابعد حد بهالمعنى يعني. فهو
Yes. So
فهو شخص عنده نوعا ما هذه البساطة اللي ما مقبولة. ببساطة إنه أنت شخص بهيك موقف هيك position like this position you have to be like a smart person.
yeah.
You know to control yourself, okay, and to watch your enemy or your friends, okay. Put yourself in
Yes.
the right position. So he was naive but in acceptable maybe degree.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
not
Okay.
totally he's naive, but he was okay.
May I, Professor?
Okay.
بس ستعتقد يعني إذا بعد لا أريد أوضح. أوكي.
Mm.
هو ست
Yes.
سويفت emphasize
His name.
the con. No. Swift. He's not Swift. He's so aware what he doing and what he do and what he will do. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Swift emphasized the contrast between Gulliver's naive, okay, and the Lilliputian's viewpoint. Okay. So هو هنا خلانا النايف بين يعني كأنه اللي يقول لنا إنه ذول الليليبيوشن يظنون نايف. اوكي. وهو
لكن هو
يظن
in reality
reality هو مو نايف. هو كسيرجري مان كان يعني انسان يعني عنده قابل، عنده متعلم educated، بس هو يريد يوضح هنا بالروايه صور لنا يعني حالتين، صور لنا حاله شو اسمه جوليفر يشوف الليليبيوشنز نايف، اوكي، وهم ايضا يشوفون نايف، واحد يشوف الثاني من هالصوره. فهو سوى contrast.
That's because of the physical differences between them.
Yes, physical facts and reports maybe.
Yes. Thank you very much, Ali. Yes, Muhammad.
Yes, Professor. I think he's not naive. He's just a simple man. Just simple. Maybe because we are in the monster community, we thought all the simple man he's like naive. You know, because we are in monster community, in difficult community, or maybe most of people it's bad people, but he's ordinary. Maybe it should be all the people. It's like Gulliver didn't hurt anyone, didn't do anyone didn't do anything didn't hurt the others, you know.
Yeah, this is the meaning of naivety in our society. That's why
maybe
I asked
simple,
Ali to
it's
clarify.
Than naive.
Yeah, that's why I asked him to clarify the meaning of the word naive, because as I know that people called those who are simple people, innocent people, as naive, and in reality they are not. Okay, maybe because we are living in such a cruel society.
Yes, exactly, Professor. That's what I want to say. Sorry.
Thank you.
بس احنا كنا نعرف خلفية الكاتب العفو الباك جراوند historical and of the writer, okay, and his philosophy. إذا احنا نريد نحلل رواية مو نحكي يعني انه الشخص هاي الكلمة بالذات نايف ونخلي معناها ونقول كلمة ينطى معنى، لا، احنا نريد نشوف وجهة النظر من خلال الرواية، من خلال الكاتب. إذا أنت ما فهمت الكاتب وما عندك خلفية ثقافية عنه وسياسية واجتماعية وشنو هو طريقة تفكيره، فما راح تقدر تفسر نايف بالمعنى اللي أنت تشوفه. فلازم ترجع للنص.
That's why
but not just explain from just one side. Maybe you have your opinion and I have my opinion.
No, it's not
many
about
opinions, not just one opinion.
حمودي، أنا مو أقصد الرأي أو رأيك أو أي غير. طبعا إحنا ما عندنا آراء، الرأي هو مختص بالكاتب والناقد. إحنا ما عندنا، إحنا نعطي وجهات نظر ممكن. إحنا نعطي وجهات نظر.
We didn't in deep of the mind of writer, you
بس
know.
أقول إحنا من نريد نعطي وجهة نظر لازم نعرف إنه الكاتب من كتب الرواية هو شنو هو، حتى نعرف من خلاله نعطي وجهة نظر. يعني ما نقدر إحنا نعطي وجهة نظر بدون ما عندنا معرفة بالكاتب نفسه. يعني أنا هسه أريد أفسر بيت شعر، الأستاذ لا تسمح لي والوقت خاف يعني آخذ من وقتها. يعني أنا أريد أفسر بيت شعري للجواهري، مو تمام أستاذة؟ زين أنا أريد أفسر بيت شعري للجواهري وأنا ما أعرف الجواهري منه،
You have to study the background
مو صحيح
of the
أستاذ؟
plot.
فأنا حتى أعرف
Yes, I
المعنى
agree with you,
قبل
Ali. But you know,
Yes.
this kind of novels, it's also suitable for during this time, this community. It's also, we can explain it for this community.
Of course.
Yes,
But we have the
that's right.
critics, okay? Critics
Yes,
who have this job, okay?
Yes. Okay, thank you, Ali and Muhammad. I think Mustafa also wants to add something for this question. Mustafa?
No, they say everything. They say everything. Thank you
They
so
say
much.
everything.
Can I add
Okay.
احنا
something?
تعاركنا هاي صار عركة مال الريبيوشن ومال شو اسمه
احنا راح نتعارك.
لذلك هدئهم ستي
It's like the fighting on fast, because you know, victim or not victim, you know.
Yes, نبأ.
ليش نسأل السؤال is he naive? Why we don't ask the question is he a political man or not? Because everything in this novel is kind of political. He is not a political man, not in a naive way or not naive way. Every one of us, can I say about every one of us in this lecture is naive because he don't know how to master political events and all of that.
No, but I use the word naive because it is mentioned in the text. Okay, Swift in the text used this word in describing, and he was wondering whether Gulliver is naive or not. Okay, from the narration, and that's why I ask you about this word. And of course, what you have mentioned is also right. Is he political or not? Is he social person or not? Okay, in every field, we are not mastered all fields. So we can't say that we are naive in one of the fields, for example, psychological field or such things. But again, I use this term just because it is mentioned, and just I want to listen to your opinions concerning the idea of naivety.
Your opinion, is he naive or not?
According
to the novel.
According to the novel, I don't think that he is naive. Okay, maybe they see him as a naive person because he is not strong enough to handle all the difficulties, the wars, to find himself. By the way, he's weak from the beginning. It is mentioned that he is weak and he is more human, and that's why they see him as a naive person. Okay.
maybe كان ترى مجاوبت خليتها كونتراست يعني أنا ما أعطيت إجابة إنه هو الشخص نايف باعتبار أنا أعتبره نايف بالنسبة لي أعتبره نايف طبعا بهذا الجزء بس هو هنا ما قال لنا الكاتب إنه هو نايف لو مو نايف قال لنا هو نايف من وجهة نظرهم وهم نايف من وجهة نظره هاي النقطة بس يعني ماكو شيء اسمه نايف
بس احنا علي احنا يعني we elaborated more about this idea and also we connected it to our nowadays society. We are always trying to connect every single event in literature in general to our postmodern society, the society that we are living in. Okay.
If he is not naive, okay, he will take care. Okay, he is in the land of a people. They are maybe mean. Okay, they are petty. They are puzzled. So, and he knows they are always have struggles or wars. So he should to take care of himself
from those people. Yeah.
Yes, لازم فهو إنه قليل النباهة فهو ضاع بالنص بيناتهم ساعة ويا ذولا.
Okay, we will see at the end of this book. I mean, book 1. We will see at the end of this book what will happen, and we will ask these general questions. إنه هذا السؤال يعتبر general question. After the end of this adventure, we will see whether he is naive or not. And also we will see about the political satire. We will comment about political satire. We will comment about the society and state of the Lilliputians. And yes, this is the end of this chapter. We will كم chapter هذا الكتاب؟ إيش قد رح نبقى بيه الله يخلص؟ أكو واحد منكم حاسبين؟
يمكن 8 أو
9 4 كتب. لا هو 11 chapter 11 لو 12. 11 لو 12
Okay.
ممكن.
So
بس
as
انت
I
قلتي
told you.
مقسمهن اربع كتب يمكن استاذه قلتي او
اي بس هذا الكتاب جاي ندرس الشابترز، بعدين راح ناخذ كتاب راح يكون افضل، لانه يعني summary for the whole book, although it is short, but it will be compact and concise, so we will have more time for elaboration and for answering the critical questions. انه يعني خلال الكلاس راح يكون عندنا more critical questions راح نقدر نجاوبها، راح ناخذ ك short summary for the whole book. Yes, that's
اتمنى من الطلاب ما يخدعهم ويسوف، ترى هو رجال ستارك مان.
ايه
وهو محدد ما راح يعوف الستارك، يعني هي هاي النوفل كلها
كل الاحداث متعلقه بهذا الموضوع، كلها ستاير،
هو
كلها ستاير.
هو his defense in his society was the satiric. Okay, he used the satire in everything.
And I think this is a good way. This is a good way to reach all people. Don't you think so?
Maybe it's a good way.
Satire.
Maybe it's such a mask to hide yourself. Maybe you are a crowd, or maybe you are religious. So and you prefer one side to another. He was a religious man, and he with the side that he went in the maybe the election. Okay.
Yes.
And yes. فبصورة عامة أستاذه هو كان رجل ما يبي يخفي نفسه وراء هذا القناع، لأنه هو دفاع الوحيد، ما يملك شيء غيره. هو هاي الرواية سبقتها الرواية The Battle of ما أعرف شنو هي هم، يعني كانت الستارك يعني بعد أفضل، يمكن بعد أكثر بيها أكثر من هاي الرواية.
صح. أي بس هذه صار فيموس بيها، يعني هذه
صار فيموس. لاقى هواي آراء ضد هاي، لأن هو تقريبا كان هجومه مباشر. إحنا هسه يمكن هواي أمور ما، يعني أنا متأكد هواي أمور من الرواية الطلاب غفلت عنها أو ما عرفتها لأن هي النص مباشر، لكن قراءة النقد راح يعطينا صورة ثانية للرواية باعتبار إن هذه اللي ذكروا الحادثة.
The more you read about the literary work, the more you will be able
هم
to
على دراية بتاريخهم. Yes, هم على دراية بتاريخهم.
But we cannot just restriction just about one idea, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
أكو آراء
we are free, you know.
أكو وجهات نظر إحنا نطرحها، لكن ممكن أنت تخالف بها النص. ممكن هذا ما قصد الكاتب.
I believe we can explain it without limited, you know.
Why
you just put the limit thinking just you put the limit, you know.
عمودي مو كل من قاعد ورا السيارة صار سايق، مو ولا
no
نلزم الاسبان
صار
have you read not just I say one driver just thinking, just try to thinking, try to
هو هاي
why
طريقة
not
حلوة إنه أنت تفكر.
something useful for us.
عمود طريقة حلوة إنه أنت تفكر، بس قصدي وجهة النظر أو الجواب ما يطلع خارج النص، لأن أكو ناس مختصة به. هو علم، تدري الرواية والنقد هي علوم. هذا النقد هو علم أيضا.
Yes, also without
اللغة.
also this kind of without limited, you know.
Yes.
Maybe that's my opinion. I don't know.
Thank you. It's a struggle. Okay. So
لا
حسين يعني حبيبي يعني بالعكس كلش احبه. انا حاليا جدا مستمتع والله يعني.
And me too, by the way. I really enjoy your class because you are talking, you are expressing yourselves unlike other. Okay.